Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's topic, I wanted to kind of just sit down and talk and rant about a little bit of a heavy topic, which is depression and loneliness in Korea. So I just wanted to kind of share my experience, and hopefully if you guys are going through the same thing, you guys know that you're not alone and a lot of people are also experiencing these same things. Let's talk about loneliness in Korea first. So I came to Korea in 2015 and I have experienced so much loneliness here, and I think that happens to a lot of expats. It's just like a normal feeling to feel lonely here because we came all the way to a new country that we don't know, and we don't speak the language, we don't have our family and friends here. So it is very hard because when you start to feel lonely, you don't really have anybody to turn to, and it can be a very difficult thing. I know my time in Korea, like the first year I came to Korea, I didn't feel that lonely because it was my first year here. I was very social. I wanted to go out and see Korea, to have fun, enjoy myself. So my first year, I made a lot of friends through the EPIC program, and I met a lot of people when I went out. So I didn't really feel that sense of loneliness my first year in Korea. Definitely during my second year living in Korea, I started to feel a lot more lonely because I wasn't going out as much. I guess that's kind of why I decided to move, because I just felt like I have nothing here. I need a new change of scenery. So I transferred from one city to a new city. But the funny thing is that I felt even more lonely because I went to a brand new city and I didn't have friends in that city, and I just felt very isolated, and my loneliness became bigger. People think it's easy to make friends in Korea, but it's not. It's really hard unless you're putting yourself out there and trying to make those connections and friendships. It's not easy to meet people. I guess for me, when I moved, I lived at the very northern part of Seoul. It was hard for me to go out, and I really hated taking the trains because it was just a long journey. Pretty much all of the friends I made when I first came to Korea, they were already gone. So it was also a hard time. And at that time, I started dating a lot, and I felt like I was trying to fill that void of loneliness with another person. But at the end of the day, it kind of made me just more lonely, which was a really bad idea. Even though I'm married, I still feel very lonely. And I talked a lot to my married friends, and they also felt the same way. I guess the reason why we feel so lonely, it has to do with a communication problem, because we can't speak fluent Korean and our husbands can't speak fluent English. So even though we want to express ourselves, even though we have a lot to say, at the end of the day, our husbands can only understand so much of what we're trying to say. So I guess that frustration, of not being able to express ourselves, that makes us feel more lonely. I know for me especially, I feel very lonely because I have so much I want to say, I want to talk so much, but I have nobody that listens to me because my husband's just what are you saying? So that's really hard when you have so many feelings bottled up inside of you, but you can't fully express yourself. You should have friends to be able to talk to and release all of your stress and all of your feelings. But in Korea, friends are always coming and going. I also felt I became very unsocial, and I kind of closed myself off from everybody because I don't want to be hurt, because the friends I've made, they've all have left, and then pretty much when they leave, it's very hard to keep in contact with them because you're in two different time zones. It's just really impossible to maintain those friendships when you're not living in the same place. I felt like I have kind of pushed everybody away because I kind of feel like, why should I take the time and effort to make friendships when they're just gonna be gone anyways? For me, like, I'm trying to be more open and I'm trying to connect with like other married girls in Korea. It's nice to be able to talk with people that, you know, are going through the same things you are. But again, friends can only feel like your loneliness so much. And for me, it's trying to find that balance of how to not feel lonely even when I have my husband and my friends. And I don't know, I guess that will just kind of be a part of living abroad. Like, you'll always feel loneliness because this is not your home country and it's not what you grew up with. You know, you can surround yourself with good people to make you feel not as lonely, I guess. I also wanted to talk a little bit about depression in Korea because I know a lot of YouTube videos I've seen, people experience depression while living in Korea. It's not easy living in this country because there's so much pressure with everything you do. But for me, like, definitely last year, I had so much sadness and depression in my life. It was like my first year of marriage, but it was like a very sad year for me. And I think it's because I was mourning my American life and realizing I'm never going to be living in America again. And I think that's why I had so much depression, is because this is my life in Korea now. I'm gonna be here probably forever, and it was really hard for me to come to terms with. And my husband, of course, he's very supportive and he's very open to the idea of moving to America and living in America. But honestly, financially, like speaking, we just don't have the money to move to America. And, you know, if we move to America, I think he would have like a really hard time finding a job there. So for me, you know, the pros and cons of moving to America, it's not realistic. I just kind of had to come to terms with the fact that, okay, you know, this is my life. Like, I have to let go of, you know, my American dream of having a house in a backyard, driving a minivan, and being a soccer mom. Like, those are just all gone. So I think that's a part of the reason why I've been so sad like the last year. And also, I think a part of my depression is like having to share my life with someone. I guess just getting used to living with someone full time. You know, it's not easy when you're used to living by yourself and having your life, and then now you have to kind of like intertwine and share everything with someone else. It's a very hard adjustment. And also, I had a lot of depression because of my job. I quit teaching and then I had another job, but as I started that job, I just felt like more and more depressed and more sad. And you know, in Korea, we have like so few options. You just have the options of being a teacher, or being a teacher. And I think honestly now I really dislike teaching. I just don't enjoy it anymore, and it gives me so much stress. Whenever I start a job, I just want to quit because I don't know what it is anymore. Like, I didn't have a job last year and I was just trying to find out like what I want to do for my future. What is my future in Korea? Like, what job can I have? What can I do that will make me happy, that will make me have a long career? And that was just my biggest struggle. And you know, I was very sorry to my husband because I wasn't working, and you know, he had so much pressure on himself to provide for our family. And you know, I guess that's also why I still continue to feel so much depression, is because I don't know what I want to do with my future. And I started YouTube and I really enjoy this as a hobby. Maybe I can make this into my career because I do enjoy making videos and you know, talking about things I want to talk about and making videos that help people. So I'm hoping like my husband can understand me and support me while I'm trying to grow my channel. The thought of having to go back to teaching, I just hate that so much. And it's really hard when you're in a country and you are really limited to your job options. It's hard living in Korea as an expat. That's all I can say. You know, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of, you know, my feelings and my experiences to let you guys know you're definitely not alone. It's okay to feel lonely and to feel depressed because, you know, that's just life, I guess. And as long as you're able to overcome those feelings, it's okay. And don't be afraid to talk about your feelings with someone. Let someone know if you're feeling lonely or depressed. And you know, surround yourself with good people and hopefully you'll be okay. If you're living abroad somewhere else, like let me know if you guys also have these feelings when you're living in other countries as well. So please don't forget to like and subscribe and I will catch you in my next video. Bye bye.